Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Just a quick introduction to today's video. I'm feeling quite excited about this project. I'm going to be making a bowl from this big old piece of cherry. It's not too often that I get larger diameter pieces of wood. An abandoned vineyard for this many years has now been cleared and is going to be turned into a new vineyard. So the owner got in touch with me and donated me some large pieces of wood. So I'm feeling very lucky to have this much wild cherry in my workshop. The only thing I can't portray to you too much through the screen is this smell. It smells like someone's been baking a cherry pie here. I love making big things in the winter. It's a great way to warm up. The bowl is going to be hollowed from the bark surface in. So I'm going to get the natural bow of the wood. The design is going to be quite loose. I have an idea in my head of making some facets or scallops on the hollow itself, but we'll see. As always, I'm going to carve silently and I'm going to work fairly freehand and just sculpt with my hand tools. Light here is a bit of an issue. I'm going to see how far I can get today. I'll be happy today if I can complete a loose hollow to a size that I'm happy with and also carry that through to some sort of axe work. And then tomorrow or the next day, however long it takes, we will refine this overall shape into a finished bowl. Oh, hi Pip. Here's Pip. She's got a bad paw at the moment. She's got a little bit of a limp, bless her. You're the same colour as the cherry. Yeah. So let's get to it. And that is exactly where I will stop today. I'm running out of light slightly, and running out of energy also. Bowl carving is not for the faint-hearted, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of body that goes into making hand-carved bowls. Now I got the hollow on this as deep as I could, and also as clean as I could. My initial intention was to make some gouge marks that go from the side walls into the bottom, but as I was hollowing, I just unearthed this beautiful colouring of the heartwood. It's one of the reasons why I love cherry. Sometimes it is like looking at a painting, and I'd be a fool to try and cover that up or to overshine this with selfish tool marks. So the best thing that I can do to honour this beautiful piece of wood is to carve it as if I'm trying to carve a picture frame for that painting. So now I'm going to put this into a plastic bag, and I'm going to leave it here at the back of the workshop, and then I'll come back tomorrow to axe and carve the rest of it. And you'll notice tomorrow morning that this piece of cherry will be glowing orange as it oxidizes overnight. And I'm from a art background. I went to university to study illustration, and one of the things that I miss quite a lot is working with colour and painting. But sometimes with certain woods I'm able to get that sense of colour back again. You'll see me in a few seconds, but I will see this piece in the morning. Very orange. So today I'm going to see how far I can get with the axe, and hopefully that will lead on to some sort of knife work. I think it's going to have another short day of knife work after, but we'll see how we go. And this is where I will pause for today. What was important here is to get the walls as even, consistent and as refined as possible with the axe. I would much rather spend an extra hour with the axe than an extra 4 with a knife. I use much bigger muscle groups with a heavier tool, and with the knife I'll be prone to cramping after a few hours of using it. So I did take my time a little bit with the axe there. It was nice to get the foot loosely refined. I'm not going to take that any further now until it's dry, because it's going to warp and change quite a lot. And I'm also quite impressed with how effective that little hybrid grip was with my spoon carving knife to get underneath those handles to remove that bulk. And I was a bit worried about that when I was making it. I was like, how am I going to get in there? And I kind of tried it with a twist and it was really effective. So I'm quite pleased, and I can almost hug this thing already. So I'm going to go home and rest my arms, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to come back and carve these walls with this knife. And in the meantime I'm going to keep it wrapped up in a plastic bag, left here overnight. What a great project that was. That took a lot of energy. The depth of the bowl is quite something. It's quite short in its length, which means that the end grain walls were quite steep. In hindsight, quite a tricky carve. It took a little bit of figuring out to get things dialed, especially underneath the handles here, where it kind of flutes into a sharper edge, and it feels really nice in the hands to hold. I didn't want to do anything too fancy because the wood is just speaking already. It's glowing. So like I said earlier in the video, I would have been very foolish to try and create anything too gestural. I think instead I just wanted to leave behind this frame, if you like, to really highlight what's happening inside there. And it's like looking into the sun or something quite planetary, actually. So much happening there, and I'm so happy it's been documented in an object like a bowl. I'm going to let this piece dry now for a month, then I'll come back, and if needed I'll do some finishing cuts and some oiling. I'm also going to be documenting how this wood behaves and changes before and after, and I've taken measurements of its size and of its weight and of its general shape. I've drawn an outline on my workbench so I can see just how much wood like cherry behaves after drying, and I know that it's going to warp slightly. I know it's going to be a lot lighter, but it's a little bit of research, if anything, for myself to see how wood behaves. So in the future, please do look out for that video. So I'll keep this very short. I loved that, but I need to rest. That was a big project. Thank you all for watching along, for subscribing, for your encouragements and for your lovely comments. If you do have any questions about today's project, please do drop it below in the comment section. I do read and reply to them where I can. And like I said before, bowl carving's not for the faint-hearted. I did have to stretch quite a lot and take a lot of breaks and a lot of sharpening breaks also to get to this outcome. So do bear that in mind. Do look after yourselves, your bodies, your minds and your tools if you are carving big projects like this at home. So anyway, I'm gonna go home, but thank you again for watching along.